everybody. It's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, August 8th, 2021. Well, that's all, folks. Nothing more to see here. Cue the cops. Haul her off to jail. Bada bing, bada bye, Tara. Phyllis has saved the day. Kyle gets his kid. Kyle and Summer are reunited, all tied up with a tidy little bow. See you next week. Love ya. Bye. Oh. My favorite part of the week. I loved how the cops were content to stay on the front porch, just waiting for someone to open the door. Oh, no, Phyllis and Lauren, you go ahead and take your victory lap in front of the villain. We'll just wait here until you cue us to come in and haul her away in handcuffs. We can be patient. You have your moment. You earned it. Is there any way that those cops could also swing by Sutton's house and arrest him too? Tie that story up in a neat little bow? Maybe arrest Stitch while they're at it? Just for looking suspicious. Stitch looks suspicious. Shoot him! That sounds like a good idea. Good plan. Wrap it up. Wrap 'em up. So, oh my goodness, after all these weeks and all these schemes, Tara is arrested for embezzlement? Okay, that kind of came out of nowhere, no? Whatever, I don't even believe it. I think that Tara is going to be out of jail. She's going to be back rocking the white jumpsuits a few more times before Labor Day. She's got several weeks to still wear white before Labor Day. She has to get out of jail for that. Oh, I mean, don't you think we haven't seen the last of Tara? Or do you think this is it? Is this the end of Tara? I don't know, but I do want to know if you're interested in continuing to see Tara. That's our poll question for this week. Do you want to see more of Tara? Or are you like totally done with her and just ready to move on completely? YRChat.com. That's our poll question for the week. I honestly started to get really tired of how one note her character had become, but I think I'm going to vote in Tara's favor. I think I'm going to vote that I want to bring Tara back. Her character could use some work. They just need to retool her and bring her back. There is officially nothing that a soap opera can't come back from. I mean, embezzlement, whatever. Isn't that the same way that Chelsea got written off the show a couple of years ago? It's like literally that exact same story. Chelsea was trying to pull the wool over Lauren's eyes using her fashion company, Chelsea 2.0, and she was stealing profits away from Fenmore's. Big deal. Embezzlement? That's child's play around here. Phyllis pulled it all off. Let us not forget, never doubt Phyllis. When she says she's going to do something, she does it. hey, she deserves her praise, but I'm going to tell you right now, Phyllis is going to be over the top with her false humility for at least the next 2 weeks. Just doing my job, everybody! Protecting the fair citizens of Genoa City from the evildoers of the world. I'm Phyllis! Oh... Hey, she hacked in to Tara's financial records. She worked with Nick to get Tara's accountant to confess to cooking the books. So Phyllis deserves her kudos, but I'm telling you right now, she is not gonna let anybody forget it. She is gonna be riding around on her high horse for weeks. Jack was already immediately giving Phyllis a big ego boost. Suddenly, he's calling her Red again. She's on his good side. He's thanking her for warning him, and he's apologizing for not listening to her. And Phyllis the whole time is just standing back saying, oh, no, I'm not here to say I told you so. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Phyllis is going to be patting herself on the back so hard she'll break a bone. Sally doesn't even know yet how bad she got burned, how much she got had. Phyllis gives Nick a little homecoming before jet setting off to LA. And by the way, how about that lack of social distancing between Phyllis and Nick, by the way? On the week that we are talking about social distancing on the show, Phyllis and Nick were on fire. But Phyllis goes to LA shortly after to get the whole scoop about how Summer wound up with this Milan job in the first place. She goes directly to the source, Eric Forrester, and to a lesser extent, Angelina Marchetti. Not gonna lie, Phyllis's Italian was embarrassingly bad. I cringed a little. It was so over the top in true Phyllis form. Angelina Marchetti, grazie. Ew. Oh, but everyone was so informative and so gracious and even willing to pose for a picture with Phyllis. Phyllis snapped a photo of herself and Eric and Angelina and sent it right on over to Sally to let Sally know she was coming for her. But then when Phyllis got home, Sally denied any wrongdoing. Sally said, I was just being altruistic, trying to give Summer a favor by helping her get that job. So Phyllis didn't really have the hard evidence she was looking for. She had to make a big, big gamble. And what she did was she lied and told Jack that Sally had confessed everything to her, which Sally did not. And that sent Jack directly, not to Sally, but to Tara. I wonder, by the way, if Jack will find out later that Sally never confessed to Phyllis and that Phyllis lied to him about that part. I wonder if he's going to find that out and mind. I am guessing not, since it all worked out for the greater good of the truth. But it sent Jack straight to Tara with some false information that scared the truth out of Tara. Truth be told, Jack maybe didn't really even need Phyllis's help as much as she thinks he did. I gotta give props to Jack for taking the seeds of suspicion that Phyllis had planted in his mind, and he really ran with it. It was kind of cool to see Jack actually putting together the pieces on his own about Tara's motivation. There's some character growth right there. Jack was actually using his life's experience with schemers to figure out what Tara's motivation actually would have been. That maybe Tara wanted Kyle and was using Harrison to get him. And oh boy, wasn't it a thing of beauty watching Jack use that easy breezy Jack Abbott charm and smile to make Tara feel comfortable enough to actually confess to him. I guess it wasn't as much of a smile as it was a sense. He just kind of used his calming charm to get her to confess. Now, Tara was already kind of starting to crack under even Kyle's mild interrogation. I think that Tara could really feel the Abbott's attitudes shifting. For weeks now, it's been nothing but unquestioned love toward Tara, and now it had shifted over to suspicious minds, and Tara could feel that. She knew the jig was up, so she might as well go ahead and tell her story to Jack from her point of view while putting her spin on it. And I gotta say, as an odd point in Tara's defense, Tara retelling the story of how it all went down and everything she did kind of did remind me that none of this was her idea. It wasn't Tara's idea to get Summer out of town in this way. Sally came up with it. Sally asked Tara to meet, and Sally was the one who procured the too-good-to-pass-up job offer. Tara simply picked up the ball and ran with it. In the most deliciously devilish way possible, of course. Tara ran with it. She told Summer that she would disappear with Harrison if Summer didn't get out of Genoa Junction forever. That part was Tara, but yeah, it wasn't all Tara. Yet Tara's the one who's been exposed as the evil doer, and Tara has been hauled away in handcuffs. But what becomes of Sally? It's not going to be quite as easy to write Sally off. I get the impression that Sally is supposed to have a long-term stint or longer-term stint on the show. And, I mean, in the previews for next week, it looks like Chloe is about to offer Sally a job with Newman Media. So, I mean, that's going to be great for Sally. We know she's going to have some sticking power, because Lauren is certainly not going to be keeping her around with JCV. In fact, early in the week, Lauren made Sally's JCV position permanent. And next week, I'm assuming that Lauren will be telling Sally to pack up her office and get out of there. It's so odd to know that Tara and Sally were really in this in mostly sort of equal parts. Neither really all that remarkable. I mean, in terms of soaps, neither Tara or Sally did anything that rivals some of the biggest, baddest evil doers that we've seen on the show. And yeah, it just seems like Tara's the one that took all of the heat, and Sally's gonna somehow skate on by. And maybe we saw a little preview of that in Sally and Tara's confrontation that they had in the park midweek, where Sally was saying, I feel bad for you, I'm always gonna land on my feet. And maybe that's what she's gonna do this time too. There is something about Sally that always does kind of make me feel bad for her, and it might entirely be that I'm familiar with her character from The Bold and the Beautiful, so Sally doesn't just exist on a Y&R island for me, and I can't erase the fact that I feel like I've known her from before she got to Genoa City. So I suppose I'm predisposed to have a little bit more empathy for Sally because I've known her longer. But, I mean, I know next week we're going to see her lose her job. Next week, she'll lose her job, just like this week we saw her lose Jack again. She tried one last time to no avail to get Jack to change his mind, but he's not going to try to start a new relationship with someone he doesn't fully trust, even before all of the whole truth was exposed. I feel for Sally in a way, because I think that Jack's disapproval of her hurts. I think it kind of makes her hate herself, and if that's the case, it's about to get worse. But now, what does all of this mean for Summer and Kyle's relationship? With Tara out of the way for now, Harrison is all Kyle's for now. For now. Kyle tells Jack, "Oh, I'm so glad all of this is resolved. Hold up, can you watch this kid for a moment? I'm a rocket man." Kyle took the world's fastest trip from Genoa City to Milan. He teleported. He teleported there. Summer throws open her hotel room door. The hotel room door has a doorbell, by the way. Nice touch. Summer throws open the door. Kyle is standing there with his puppy dog sad romance face. And Kyle says to Summer, "I've come to take you home." Well, that's a little presumptuous, don't you think? You think that Summer is just gonna give up the amazing job she just started? You think Summer is gonna give up that lifetime supply of Italian soda? I don't think so. I think Kyle is about to get a bit of a rude awakening, probably followed by a new zip code for he and Harrison, or at least for him. I mean, if Kyle takes Harrison with him to Milan, oh, that's so unfortunate for Jack. I'm sure sentimental Jack will understand that Kyle needs to be with Summer and that they need to build that family for Harrison, but that's totally discounting the Ashland factor. Kyle reminded us this week that he doesn't have any kind of paternity agreement, doesn't have any kind of legal rights established yet. It seems as though Ashland had half custody, Tara had half custody. So if Tara is indisposed, then technically wouldn't custody of Harrison go right to Ashland? I mean, Ashland's not just, it doesn't seem that Ashland would just want to allow his son to move halfway around the world with new daddy. Oh, I don't know. I can see Ashland wanting to fight for his paternal rights, possibly wanting to bring Harrison into the fold with his new family he's starting with Victoria. Or, I don't know, maybe we're going to find out that Harrison belongs to none of these people. I think now might be a good time for that second paternity test to come into play. Did you see the view from that wrap-around terrace? Woo! How much do you think that Manhattan penthouse set Ashland back? I'm thinking it was pricey. And at the beginning of the week, he was ready to sell it and sell everything in it. Well, everything except for one big, goopy, yellow oil painting. I loved how Victoria made a beeline for that oil painting after she was finished getting the grand tour of the penthouse. And Victoria told us and told Ashland all about that artist's work. It really reminded me of the part of Victoria's character who loves art and loves expression and loves life. And the fact that she was conveying all of that to Ashland as he fights for his life, that was such a nice moment for this couple. And Ashland decides that he wants to now keep that probably $1 million painting that he's never looked at before. Tara probably put it there. But now he's seen it. Now he's seen it through Victoria's eyes. And that's not the only thing. Ashland is also now starting to see his cancer condition and diagnosis through Victoria's eyes. Ashland asked Victoria to come with him to see his specialist this week, to go through this with him, to get the news with him, to be a part of his recovery team. Imagine that! Having cancer and going to see a cancer specialist instead of just choosing to roll over and accept it. Wow! Ashland has a new lease on life, and it's all because of Victoria. After the specialist's appointment, we also got to see Ashland's penthouse in the light of day, and it was so gorgeous and so bright. It was the perfect place for a marriage proposal. Yes! That's right. Ashland Locke got down on one knee and proposed marriage to Victoria. And she said, yes, yes, damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead. Yes, yes, yes. I am so happy to know that Victor Newman has evolved. It's about time for the man who always says that he's all about family to actually be about family. I'm just a little confused, though, by his reaction just 2 weeks ago to Victoria's power move. He was so upset with her. And then at the same time, he was also upset with Adam for not being more like Victoria. So, talk about mixed messages. This week, Adam tries to maybe score some brownie points with Pops by finding a loophole that he can exploit in the Newman-Locke merger. It was a rather light loophole, too, like Skyping a few employees away who are unhappy anyway. Whatever, no big deal. But Victor immediately started chastising Adam. Victor launched into this big lecture about family and how when Adam's kids are grown, when Adam's kids are grown, he'll then understand. Victor's proud of Victoria, and he will not do anything to undermine her. How dare Adam even have that idea after Victor basically told him, why aren't you having that idea? Like, where did the change come from? Why the change of heart? Like, Adam is just trying to participate here. Adam was ready to go in on the father-son high five. Let's rule the world together. And then Victor just leaves him hanging, just leaves him flapping in the wind. And Victor says he'd rather go after Billy Boy Abbott instead. Well, didn't Victor tell Billy Boy Abbott just like 2 weeks ago that he was backing off of the Chanscom Newman Media feud? That he was just gonna let Billy Boy implode on his own? And now we're ready to start a new feud? Over what? Make up your mind! Who's your target? What in the heck was Jason Thompson even complaining about last week with the social distancing? He and Crystal Khalil had a big, long lovemaking scene this week. He and Lily were laying around on the couch, wrapped in a sheet, eating caviar, drinking vodka, snuggling and kissing, and being all up in each other's saliva. Maybe he was trying to get ahead of some fan complaints. because the fans are complaining that maybe some people are getting the lovemaking scenes and others are getting the distance, so he wanted to hop on board and say, yeah, I don't like it, even though he's perfectly well knew he filmed a lovemaking scene that was going to air next week. I don't know. I don't know why some of the couples are getting the lovemaking scenes and some aren't. I don't know if Y&R is still having to do the rapid testing before. Well, I don't know how they're managing all of it. But Billy and Lily were very intimate this week on all levels, physically and emotionally. I liked just having that relax time, just lying together, looking all beautiful and shiny and comfortable, talking about their families, talking about the stage of life that they're in, how happy they are to be united. Billy even suggested maybe they go on a family vacation. I would like to see that. I, for one, would like to see that. Billy, Lily, Charlie, Maddie, Johnny, Katie, all wearing matching t-shirts at Disneyland. Oh. Yeah, Billy and Lily do still excite me, I must say. I find them to be very compatible, very comfortable with one another, very good for each other. I'm glad that Billy seems to have backed off the overprotectiveness around Victoria and that Billy is putting more focus on Lily these days. I really think that these two make a good team. I think, though, that we're getting signals that we're about to gear up for a new Chance.com Newman media battle that was said it wasn't going to happen a couple weeks ago, but now it's for some reason happening. And if we gotta go there, then I am at least happy to see Billy and Lily fighting side by side. Yeah, I'm ready to see the Sutton murder charges put to bed. I know Amanda doesn't feel this way, and she shouldn't feel this way. The man killed her father, I guess, but I'm sorry. I am so tired of the trial that never begun. It's the trial that never begun. All of the interest of this story lies in the dynamic between Amanda, Imani, and Naya. And to be honest with you, the twist that revealed that there was no twist here has just made Naya feel really hollow to me. I wanted to believe that Naya knew something or was hiding something or had some kind of deeper emotion for Richard, but it seems like she was and is just blindly following her father's orders and is still in denial, still struggling to accept what she admitted from her heart this week. She said it could be true that Sutton could be capable of murder, but she's still having trouble accepting it. It's just, Naya needs more stuffing because I want to like her. I think the actress is awesome. She has so much presence and I'm so naturally drawn into her, but as far as the character and what we've actually been given, she just seems so brainwashed to me now and very little else. Oh, she cried for days when she thought that Richard had been killed in a car accident. Wow, really? Days, huh? That's a wealth of emotion right there, Naya. Days? You cried for days? Ooh. You cried for days 20 years ago? This must be really hard for you. I mean, why not make it so that Naya loved him? Why not have Naya say that she loved him? What would be the harm in that? Her character needs something. Or what about bringing on her husband, who is mentioned rarely but never seen? Imani's father? Why not bring him on? Naya's husband, Imani's father. Like, we're clearly building up Imani's character. We are seeing it from Imani. We are showing Imani telling Amanda that she's struggling with it too, but she is willing to break free of Sutton's mind control, and she is ready to start a new life with Amanda by her side, as sisters, as friends. But why not do something else for Naya? I mean, Naya is probably, arguably, the more potentially interesting of the two. If I had to pick between Naya and Imani, I'd pick Naya. But all Naya ever does is cry and become indignant. So why not at least show us that she has something to lose? Why not show us what she has to lose? Like, give us a scene where a bunch of vote for Sutton Ames flyers fall out of her briefcase or something, and then she breaks down, realizing that her whole life has been a sham. Sutton was supposed to be a man of the people, but instead he turned out to be an opportunist and a fraud and a liar. Give Sutton and Naya a grand confrontation. Let Naya evolve her character by being the one to bring down Sutton, freeing herself, and then building a new bridge with her daughter Amanda at the same time. I am making a conscious effort to try to find good things to say about the stretched out, missing Mariah madness. I'm trying to turn a new leaf. I am not even going to mention about how this was another week of absolutely nothing happening in the plot. Instead, I will focus on a few very good character building moments that we had, such as this. Tessa knows something is wrong. Everyone else may be content to just sit back and do nothing, but Mariah misses her next doctor's appointment. And it was the doctor's appointment that she said in a text that she would be home for. Mariah missing a doctor's appointment and then just sending another lame text to cover for it? No, Tessa has had enough. Tessa knows she needs real help. So she goes to Sharon with Nina by her side, and Sharon tries to calm the situation. Honestly, I don't blame Sharon as much as I know a lot of the fans do. Fans seem to be really mad at Sharon for not jumping to the worst case scenarios, but I think maybe that's just who Sharon is. I think Sharon is trying to be like the let's stay calm everybody kind of person, because we have to remember that only we know that Mariah's been kidnapped. On the surface, Mariah maybe just seems like she needs some space. It's space that may very well cost her her job, though, according to Jack. Finally, I'm so glad someone mentioned the fact that she's been MIA at work, though. That's also very strange. Jack tells Sharon that if Mariah doesn't come home soon, that they're going to have to replace her at Jabot, because at first all of this was predicated on the fact that, or on the idea that Mariah had just gone off on a business trip, and more that's proving to not be true. I hope Mariah has a kidnapping clause in her contract at Jabot so that she can slip right back into work when she gets back, because otherwise they are going to replace her. But look, Tessa is the one who is on the ball here. Like, to Sharon and maybe the rest of the world, they're thinking maybe Mariah is just struggling with some pregnancy hormones. It's a life-changing thing here. But Tessa is operating on pure love and instinct. Tessa tells Sharon, Mariah and I share one heart. and our heart is telling me that something is wrong. So, maybe Rey. Rather than just going like to the police and filing an official missing person report, maybe Rey, the police detective among us, can help track Mariah. Please, Rey, please, can you help us find Mariah, please, Rey? If not as a police detective, then just as Sharon's husband, as a helpful Samaritan. Anything you need to do to get on board with this, please, Rey. I'm begging you, Rey. Help us solve the mystery, Rey. And I think it's possible. Maybe Rey is on the path to just becoming a private detective. Victor offered Rey a job this week with ranch security. That sounds high profile and high paying, but Rey turned it down. And although he turned it down, Rey does seem to be rethinking his career. I'm wondering if maybe Rey is going to open up his own private detective firm. That would allow Rey to be a little more loose with the investigation rules and maybe finally get something done to get us closer to finding Mariah. Although, in the previews for next week, Rey is telling Sharon, I don't know, some people just don't want to be found. What? Of course Mariah wants to be found. She's been kidnapped, Rey. Don't you watch this show? Sharon, too. Of course. Of course she's been kidnapped. Don't you watch the show, Sharon? Let me tell you, what I wouldn't give right now to just see Danny the Donny Bose unlock Mariah's kidnap room door just in time to show us Stitch or anyone being hauled off to jail. Just use those same cops that arrested Tara. Just open up Mariah's door, show somebody being hauled away in handcuffs, and just put a big sloppy red bow on this one too. Please. But, okay, gotta pull it back, because in the interest of finding good things to say about this story, I will say Cameron Grimes was great in her dungeon scenes this week. Like, the feeling of being trapped really translates. She's doing a really good job of translating that. I felt Mariah's desperation. I feel the claustrophobia. I feel the fear. And I also feel her growing connection to the baby. She gave the baby a rock star nickname this week. She's now calling him Bowie. And that therefore gives me a sense of growth with Mariah's character, because Mariah started out very unsure about all of this. She was willing, an absolutely willing participant, but there was something about her that it just seemed like such a bizarre match. But now she's grown to the point of really feeling bonded to the child. She loves this baby. She wants to protect him too. She's not just a surrogate. She cares. And I can hear in Mariah's voice and the way that she's talking, I can really hear between the lines what she hasn't said yet, the fear that she hasn't expressed yet, which is, what if I'm here not because someone wanted to kidnap me, but what if it's because someone wanted to kidnap you? There's that sense, it's almost a horror sense about the situation. Who's doing this and what do they want? Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I could have gotten into it so much more if it had been a little more succinct. I've just been so exhausted by I think mostly by the off-screen speculation on who it could be, and so the on-screen speculation that Mariah had this week was extra double exhausting. Could it be Ian Ward? Could it be someone who's after Tessa? I don't know. The thing is, especially based on what happened with Tara and everything this week, I'm starting to think that this writing team just likes to play it straight from point A to point B. No big twists, no crazy plots, just simple straight lines. Which makes me think that maybe Chance is the one who nabbed Mariah for her own safety to try to protect her and to try to protect his son, and maybe he will just die in the process of doing it, hopefully soon. One more thought about Rey. I think there's also a possibility that Rey's sudden reconsidering of his career might just be Y&R clearing the path to send Rey off the show chasing Chelsea. This week, Victor called Rey to meet, offered him the job, but also was expressing some concerns that Chelsea might reappear only to run away with Connor again. And it feels like what's being established is that Rey's the only one who really believes in her. Rey's the only one who can get through to her. And if he's not bound by the GCPD job, he could take a private investigation gig, and that could send him off the canvas indefinitely. That would also give Sharon and Adam another couple months of will they, won't they? Maybe a couple years of will they, won't they? I don't know. This week, Nick and Adam were broing out. I love it. But Nick tells Adam that if Adam causes any problems for Sharon and Rey's marriage, then that would put an end to their bromance. Man, is that some foreshadowing there or what? I just don't get. Why is it always Adam's fault? Why is it Adam's fault that Adam and Sharon are hooking up with each other in their minds every night? And every day. But, Adam calls Sharon. He has to, after Nick says that, Adam's got to place a phone call to Sharon, leave her a voice message saying, I didn't mean to say anything, or for you to misconstrue anything that I said. Gulp. I don't know. I'm also thinking that based on that conversation that Adam had with Nick, I wonder if Adam's like gonna pull away from Sharon now, trying to keep on this right path. Trying to stay on the straight and narrow boring path. If he's gonna pull away from Sharon only to try to again force himself to maybe have a relationship with Chelsea for the good of his family, for the good of his son, and then Adam's just going to end up getting his heart dashed when Chelsea betrays him and runs away with their kid. Congratulations! Heather, T. Nicole, Sandra, Daisy, Southside Granny, Henry, Sam, Lisa 115, Victoria, Aaron, Deedles, Jamie, Y&R Viewer 123, Tommy, Heather K, Kelly, Kathleen, Juanita, Pam, and Diana. You guys guessed last week's Who Said It quote. Woo! Whew! I need to take a breath and a drink after that. Last week's Who Said It quote was, I don't believe in coincidence. People make their own luck. And the answer that everybody knew, it was Phyllis. She was talking to Amanda. They were kind of trying to flesh out Tara and Sally's dastardly plan. I don't believe in coincidence. People make their own luck. It was a pretty good line. Everyone guessed it. But will everyone guess who said this? I have been kicked in the face more than once. That's a funny one. I kind of like it. It wasn't meant to be funny. I'll give you that hint, but it's funny if you pull it out of context, which is sort of like the appeal of these Who Said It quotes. Pulling a line out of context and then trying to guess who said it. I have been kicked in the face more than once. If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess, and if you get it right, I will take a deep breath and give you your shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. Last week, I asked you guys, is the on-screen social distancing still really obvious to you daily? I'm kind of surprised by the results. They're close, but the majority of people, 56%, still feel that the social distancing is obvious daily. 44%, like me, voted no. It's just so interesting because it just totally dropped off of my radar. Everything seems pretty normal to me. I don't watch a lot of other shows that I could compare it to. I'm surprised that as many people really still see it, but I guess it's all relative. Lisa115 says, it's so noticeable because there's no consistency. Amanda and Devon were making out last week, and now they don't even touch each other when exchanging their first I love yous. Some couples are all over each other, and some still stay 6 feet apart. Perhaps not everyone has been vaccinated, but it makes the difference very noticeable. Yeah, Lisa, that's a really good point, and maybe that is what it is. It's that sometimes everything is so normal and so, like, up in everybody's business, and we're close, and we get that intimacy, and other times it's just like, whoa, why, Amanda and Devon, opposite ends of the couch for their very first I love you? Astra says, yes, I notice it all the time. It may not have bothered me so much if I didn't watch General Hospital. Over there, they never social distanced, but for a while, they didn't show kissing and lovemaking scenes. Now the characters are kissing all the time, and lovemaking scenes are happening more than not. So, being spoiled with that, it's hard to watch Y&R and not see the stark contrast. I do hope that we can get back to normal over there soon, because soaps are about feelings and romance, and it feels like it's missing something when the actors cannot be close in those intimate scenes. Yeah, it's such an interesting choice, too, that why allow Devon and Amanda to be intimate for their lovemaking scene, but then not for the I love you. It's so weird. It's like a bizarre prioritization of the physical intimacy versus the emotional intimacy, and which one requires the physical intimacy. Sue W. voted no, not noticing the on-screen social distancing. Well, certainly not on a daily basis. When Y&R resumed filming after lockdown, I was so happy to have it back. I pretended with great difficulty that the glaring social distancing wasn't happening at all. Now that so many scenes do have characters in close proximity again, the distancing just doesn't faze me anymore. Sure, I can definitely spot the awkwardness at times, i.e. Faith and Summer not even sharing a goodbye hug when Summer scooted off to Italy, but it no longer pulls me out of the story. You just gotta go with it, right? Yeah, I think maybe that's about where I land on it too, Sue. That it's like, yeah, I guess it's there if I think about it, but I guess I try not to think about it. Well, Sherrod says, you know how much I love me some Rey. But I must admit that he lost a few points with me today, as he was clearly dismissive of Tessa being concerned about Mariah's absence. Yeah, Sherrod, I mean, the second Rey came in on it, I really hadn't thought too much about it before, but the second I saw that Y&R was bringing Rey into the fold, I thought we were going to be like, all right, here we go, let's get Rey on the case, let's get somewhere. And instead, he definitely shut the whole thing down, and it looks like in the previews for next week, he's going to continue to shut it down. That's suspicious. Sandra says, Y&R ruined any chance of Rey being exciting, empowered, and chanting. He's a dud that stands off to the side, convincing himself that he has a good marriage. They should turn Rey rogue or write him off. He's so boring and uninteresting. Jordy V is great, but he can only portray what the writers give him. What it? I mean, what is it about it? Why do they keep Rey around only to just, have him, stand off to the side and have this marriage that all the viewers know is not going to work out with he and Sharon? I mean, it's just, Sharon is so her head's in the clouds thinking about Adam. It makes it impossible to root for Sharon and Rey. So Y&R has kind of made Rey unrootable. And outside of the relationship with Sharon, Rey has nothing. Nothing. Maybe that's why they're trying to make him a private investigator so that at least he can move the action forward. I mean, if they're not going to give him an emotional story, then yeah, give him something to do that will further the plot. Let him be a plot tool. Fine. Something. Ellen says they need to make Rey a hero. Come on. This is insane. And Leslie says rogue or hero, either will do, anything but bumbling like he's been. Yeah, this would be a great chance to let Rey dig into Mariah's missing, the fact that she's missing. I mean, he should be going, yeah, this isn't right. Rey should be the one that would want to follow these breadcrumbs. He should have the suspicious mind. He should want to follow these clues, and he should want to help Sharon. But Sharon's not really pushing it either, so it's hard to say. Well, I tell you, I'm surprised, but I probably should never be surprised with theories. Sherrod has an interesting theory here. Victor offers Rey a job. Rey telling Sharon he'd look into things unofficially but found nothing. And in next week's preview, having Rey say that people don't want to be found regarding Mariah. I think Rey might have something to do with her being held captive. Could it be? Does he take Victor's job offer and it's Victor that took Mariah because he wants to protect the Abbott Newman Chancellor baby? Victor, everything he does, he justifies, and it's for family. This baby is his grandson, and now Victor wants Rey to be the one guarding the place so that Mariah can't get out. But of course, this would drive a wedge between Sharon and Rey when she finds out that he knew all along where Mariah was, therefore leading us to Sharon and Adam. Long way around, but it gets us there. That's interesting. It's interesting, Sherrod. But one other thing I forgot to say too, because you're mentioning Victor's involvement in this. It did also occur to me. I wonder if Victor knows that Adam wants Sharon and kind of wants to procure Sharon for Adam. Wants his son to be happy. So it did occur to me also that I wonder if Victor offered Rey that job to maybe try to lure him away from Genoa City to create an opening for Adam to get in there with Sharon. That's my suspicious mind. But yeah, you're not the only one who had the immediate thought that, Rey's not helping with this investigation. He might be in on it. Gary says, clearly Rey has kidnapped Mariah on a tip from Chancellor via Christine to keep her safe. But it's never a good idea to terrorize a pregnant woman or any woman. You'd think Abby would be the one in peril. The Abby would be the one to be in peril. Yeah, I know, right? You would almost think that Abby would be the one who would have been kidnapped if it was someone trying to get at Chance. But Diana also says, yes, as soon as Rey wasn't really willing to find Mariah and then made that comment he did about people not wanting to be found, that did it for me. I never would have thought Victor had anything to do with this, but as you say, the baby is Victor's grandson. Good connection. Yeah, I think I've pulled myself out of trying too hard to think of theories of who's done it, but that's a new one. Each week it's a new one. Let's talk about Sharon. Sherrod says, so Sharon pushes Faith toward Moses, but tells Tessa that Mariah, a pregnant surrogate, just probably needs some time away. Interesting writing. Yeah. Victoria says, the writing of Sharon's character was such a disappointment. Her minimizing the concern for Mariah is out of character. This hasn't been a few days. Sharon pushes when she has feelings that something is wrong, and also Mariah has been a major support for Sharon and Faith. Why would she abandon them with only a few texts of needing time away? I mean, I agree with both of you guys, but the thing is, I think the fans are probably feeling extra disappointed right now because we know Mariah has been kidnapped and we're tired of waiting and we want someone to jump in there and get us the answer. If we didn't know that Mariah had been kidnapped, maybe Sharon's just being the mom who's trying to calm everyone down and broker her daughter some space. Because we know that one thing we do know was that the environment that Abby had Mariah in was making Mariah feel overcrowded and micromanaged. So if we didn't know for sure and have confirmation and all these other Stitch creeping around the windows types of factors, I think maybe we would be a little more lenient on Sharon, thinking she's just trying to force everybody to respect her daughter's wishes. But we as the omniscient party know that there's more to the story, and so I think a lot of the fans are just chomping at the bit, just get us there. Tell us who it is and get us there. We spent weeks not knowing whether or not she'd been kidnapped at all, and now we're getting ready to enter into more weeks of waiting around to figure out who it could be. Victoria says, one of my favorite theories on Mariah's kidnapping was Ian Ward as the culprit. His desire to have Mariah and her baby to fulfill his obsession would drive actions. Mariah mentioning it gave me a window of hope. This unhinged character may be back to put a whirlwind on the Newmans and their plans. Yeah, I tell you, I really enjoyed Ian Ward. He is a wonderful, fantastic, weirdo sicko. But I wonder wouldn't we have had a casting update by now? Usually, Y&R doesn't want to they don't want to let you know when someone's been let go from the show, but a lot of times they do let you know when someone has come back, and I haven't seen any news that Ray Weiss would be returning, but I do love the idea that he could. Jamie says, I love the whirlwind drama that blows into town with Ian Ward. He's a first-class creep and a cold-blooded predator for sure, but his ick factor and flair for the theatrics always gives our key players in Genoa City a chance to shine and be heroic. If he was the one who snatched Mariah, things could get pretty crazy and entertaining. However, I doubt this storyline will turn out to be that interesting, though one can hope. Yeah, I think it's very interesting that Ian Ward was mentioned on the week that Sheila Carter returned to the Bold and the Beautiful. I mean, Ian Ward is kind of the male Sheila Carter for Genoa City, right? I mean, no one can really top Sheila Carter, but Ian Ward did a fantastic job of getting into that ballpark. It feels like we really haven't even seen him all that much, though. I think he had one, maybe two stints on the show, but he has really built up a lot of infamy, and I think it would be such a fabulous choice of Y&R to bring him back. I mean, you make a lot of great points, Jamie, about the way that he comes in with his villainy, he makes it entertaining, and he gives our main characters the chance to shine. Now on to other villains, and I'll say villains with a question mark. Tara! Let's talk about Tara. Sue W. says, out of the blue, Tara is carted off due to committing fraud. What a random, abrupt end, I guess it's the end, to Tara's duplicities. Where did all of this come from? Unless I missed something, Tara's financials were never even alluded to until this week when Lauren asked her for some documents. It's so hard to swallow. Confirmation of Tara's white-collar book cooking would have taken some time and investigation beyond the almighty Phyllis's proclamation. And suddenly, Lauren is puffed up and spouting her legal righteousness? Will the GC Keystone cops find anything illegal in Phyllis's shenanigans? Y&R so missed the boat by not having Ashland and Tara in cahoots, but now it feels like a forced, rushed, and hollow resolution. Tara pays for a crime that is totally unrelated to her interpersonal scheming. What a huge letdown to all that's been building. I hope there's more to this, or that the viewers or are we the viewers assumed as dopes like Kyle and Jack? Sure, we'll take whatever you throw at us. Oh, Sue, I didn't want to be the one to say it, but you said that better than I could, and that does sum up my feelings. I'm not gonna lie. When I was watching Friday's show, I had a whole lot of eye rolls, and I had a whole lot of, are you kidding me? You say it best right here. This is a forced, rushed, hollow resolution. There's no doubt about it. All kinds of breadcrumbs they threw around Tara. What about her brother? What about the second paternity test? Like, there's just all kinds of other directions. What about a collusion with Ashland? But no, none of that turned out to be true. Don't pay no attention to it. She just gets carted away on an unrelated crime. It really is very similar to the who shot Adam story. The thing with Alyssa, when they made Alyssa that shooter. So I mean, it's on brand for Y&R these days. They drag it out and then just like give us this quickie resolution. Like, I could have kept going on Tara's story. I was definitely tired of the way Tara's character was being portrayed as very one note, but the mystery of what was going on with her and Ashland, and are these two working separate angles? Are they working against each other? There was a lot there that was intriguing, and I could have kept going with it, whereas then they have these other stories that just keep dragging on and need a tidy resolution. Like, we should have been out of the Sutton story a long time ago, like weeks ago, and yet they go out of their way to tie up Tara? I was watching that. I was actually watching that. And then here's the other thing. Tara's not even that bad of a villain. Nothing she did was even that bad. I mean, yeah, the white collar crime, she gets pulled away for just a financial crime, blah blah. Now, I gotta give you this really interesting perspective here on Tara from Ellen, and it really begs the question: is Tara really even a big villain? Is she really even like a soap opera villain? Ellen says Y&R sure wants to punish this woman who had an extramarital affair. That's her great sin. She went through with the pregnancy with Harrison and, yes, hid the paternity, but this happens and life goes on in many cases. But for this great sin, Tara must lose everything: her husband, her home, her business, her freedom, and her son. Ashland and Kyle will keep everything and gloat over the fallen woman's demise. Stepping out of line sexually is fine for men, but women must be severely punished. That's the message I'm getting here. And if a woman dares to fight and play dirty to hang on to anything, she must be totally destroyed to teach her that she's worthy of nothing. She's stepped out of line, she will pay the ultimate price. This story is the worst. Top to bottom, make it end, please. That's so good. I mean, I there's nothing I can even add to that that's any better. It is like, whoa, who's the villain here? Tara? I mean, it's like when I thought that they were actually going to take her in a villainous direction, like, man, she switched the paternity test results, and yeah, she's going after Kami. Anything else would have lent more credence to the treatment that she got. She needed to do more to get the treatment that she got in the end. Gary says, it is interesting that Tara informed Sally Spectra that she's not a fake concerned mother and she does not need to live in a mansion. Reasons for you, Allie, to like her. It's just that she feels she has nothing right now. Yeah, it is so interesting that on the week that Tara was hauled away in handcuffs, I was reminded that she's not even all that bad in soap opera terms. Like, what did she really even do? Tara never had the moment of like, haha, and I did it all, and I would have put it off if it weren't for Phyllis. No, she was just like, I'm still about my son. I'm still trying to do what's right for my son. And maybe that doesn't meet your standards of what you would have done, but I'm doing what I gotta do, so back off. Like, that's not all that totally unreasonable. Maybe there is going to be more of Tara, though. I do think that that is a possibility. I don't think we've necessarily seen the last of Tara Locke. Ugh, but Superplex says, I don't care what form of rationalization you use, but Y&R has just snatched a little boy away from the only parents he's known for almost all his life. Yeah, if Harrison goes off to Milan with Kyle, then yeah, he will have lost his mother and his father, and he's going off with this daddy he just met a couple of months ago. But let's say there is no paternity twist, because I think this writing team doesn't do twists. I just think that's not the style of these guys. But let's say there's no paternity twist. I don't even think it's a slam dunk at this point that Harrison will go off with Kyle. I guess I kind of forgot about the fact that Ashland still has partial custody of him. Could Harrison go to live with Ashland and Victoria? Or who knows, maybe Billy and Lily will step it up and be like, let's let him, he can stay over here with Johnny and Katie, like we'll embrace him while Ashland recovers, then you can take him back and form that family together. You never know. But Henry says, how did Kyle get to Italy so damned fast? I don't think the Concorde could have gotten him there that fast. I mean, they could have put something on the screen, as they do in feature films, like, and hours later. Better yet, they could have saved the Kyle Summer reunion for Monday's show. That just seemed odd to me. Oh, the whole thing was so like, okay, well, I guess this is the end. Okay, 5 seconds later, Kyle's in Milan. Holds up the passport. 5 seconds later, he's in Milan. Beautiful reunion. Kiss, kiss, hug, hug, goodnight. I don't think that's the end, though, because we don't have resolution on the Harrison thing, and the fact that Kyle said, I'm here to take you home. Well, we know Summer's not going home. They're both going off the show. So on Monday or Tuesday or sometime next week, we have to have that moment of Summer going, wow, I really want to be with you too. We definitely got robbed of our time together. Like, I miss you. I want to be together. But I'm building a life here in Italy. And Kyle's going to have that choice. Do I choose to stay in Genoa City with Harrison? Do I choose to go to Milan with Summer? Like, we still have the resolution on what explains their absence on the show. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it was that quick of a just boom there, bingity boom, I had a big eye roll over that one too. I mean, the fact that he said that, like, I was just kind of turned off by the fact that he said, I'm here to take you home. I've come to take you home. Like, who does Kyle think he is? Summer may have run away, and there's a really good argument for that, but Summer also ran toward something else, and she has a right to it. She made her decisions. She's not just gonna, like, give it all up to come back to Genoa City now. A lot of people feeling all kinds of different ways about Phyllis. So I'm going to give you some pro-Phyllis opinions now, and I'm going to give you some anti-Phyllis opinions. And we'll start with the pros. Jamie says, all hail Phyllis. When this woman says she's going to take someone down, there is truly no stopping her. Slam dunk, Red. Slam dunk. And Soleil says, I am so happy that Phyllis Michelle Stafford has had a juicy storyline. I love that she's using her former skills as a villain for good instead of evil. The writers showing that someone can grow and change for the better. I can't wait to see Tara's takedown. Maybe Sally will flip and realize that she's just enough being herself, and she doesn't have to resort to manipulation and flip on Tara as well. Yeah, Solil, I think you left this comment before the big, Tara hauled off in handcuffs. But what I really like about your comment is that you're noting that Phyllis had the turnaround, and maybe that's what Sally needs too. Maybe Sally will realize that she's enough just being herself, and then she will have her hero moment where she gets to rise from the ashes as a baby phoenix. And maybe Phyllis could be a mentor for her. I think that'd be a cool resolution. Enemies turned friends. They have a lot in common. Oh, but now we got to hear these anti-Phyllis comments. Robbie says, I I don't think I've turned on a character as fast as I've turned on Phyllis. I can't even watch her lately. She used to be one of my favorite characters, and now she just stays in everyone else's business. Can't we get Phyllis a hobby or a life of her own? And Ellen says, Phyllis was just unwatchable for me this week. Her self-aggrandizement is gross. Gosh, I love that word, self-aggrandizement. Oh, that's it right on the head, Ellen. And Sue W. says, at her age and place in life, this is where her self-worth is. What's next after she harvests all of the "you were rights" from the adoring GC dodos? There's no yearbook to sign with hearts and smiley faces. Maybe she'll get a plaque in Chancellor Park from herself. Oh man, that's the thing about it. I'm glad Phyllis jumped in there. I'm glad Phyllis solved the mystery. I wish Rey could be the one to do that for the Mariah thing. But at the same time, the way that Phyllis just pats herself on the back, self-aggrandizement is the perfect word for it. The way that Phyllis does that, and she kind of does the false humility thing right along with it. Like she's pumping herself up, so clearly puffed up and proud of herself at the same time that she's saying, no, I did it for you. It is a little bit pukey, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, but let's switch gears and talk a little bit about Ashland and Victoria. Leslie says Ashland has a whole penthouse set. That penthouse looked more lived in and larger than most of our regular home sets. Yeah, I know. I really liked Ashland's penthouse. It was nice to have something different. Yeah, I wonder if that's the reason why Victoria's house set was kind of crunched. Like maybe Victoria's house got a little smaller to make room for this new penthouse. I kind of like the idea of keeping the penthouse. Did he decide he was going to sell it? I think he decided he was going to sell it. But so did they really build that for just the proposal scene? We need to keep that set around. Kathleen says, so true. I was impressed with how beautiful it was. I think they're trying to show us what a wonderful person Ashland is, not a phony like Tara. Yeah, it's a weird trajectory, right? Because Tara, Ashland, they both came on together, and it does seem like now Ashland is getting the good treatment. He's the hero, he's the good guy, he's the romantic lead, while Tara is now the villain, and she's being shown as bad. But Superplex disagrees. Superplex still says, Ashland, game, set, and match. I hope he and Tara are working in conjunction to blaze a path of destruction. I did wonder about this too, Superplex. I mean, when Ashland proposed, I did have a moment of like, oh gosh, if he is planning something, he did just seal it. He just sealed his plan. Again, though, I just don't know if this writing team is all that into twists. I don't think they're going to do it. I think what you see is what you get with these guys, which means no twist. Ashland and Victoria are just in love. Shelley says, can someone explain to me how the stiff, boring Ice Queen Victoria has been able, according to Ashland, to bring out his fun and easygoing side? Yeah, that's funny because if Victoria is bringing out Ashland's fun and easy side, then he must have been a real stick up the butt before. But Victoria says, I'm loving Ashland. His intense emotions coupled with his gentleness is so appealing. I don't see any sign of the Loch Ness Monster. I was looking forward to his monstrous personality spinning GC on its heels, and that's why I'm surprised I'm loving this. Yes, lots of love for Ashland. Sandra says, Allie, I think what makes Richard Burgi so enjoyable to watch is that he's natural in front of the camera. He pulls up his pants by his belt loops and adjusts his shirt like any man would do. It doesn't feel like he's acting. Oh, Sandra, I love that you said that because I never noticed it before, but the second I saw this written, the fact that he pulls up his pants by the belt loops and adjusts his shirt. Like, I saw it in my head the second I saw your text. That totally painted a picture for me. And that's such an interesting little nuance that he's just kind of being himself. And, you know, and I think you're probably also responding to that scene that he had with Harrison that he just was natural. That's just who he is. He's just a very gifted actor. And Sandra also says, maybe I'm a hopeless romantic, but I'm in love with the Ashland and Victoria story. The giggles, the stroking of Victoria's hair, Ashland tenderly rubbing Victoria's arm, and the sweetest chin grab ever. I don't care if it only lasts a short time. I'm totally here for it. Yeah, I think the show in general needed to soften Victoria more than it needed a big twist. So in that way, everything that's going on with Ashland and Victoria now, if it is on the up and up, it's completely successful. I mean, yeah, I would like a big twist. I love when plot things happen, but I honestly would rather have the relationship with Ashland and Victoria at this point. I think I'd rather believe. It's fun to watch them together and wonder, but I want to believe that it's all legitimate and it's all true. I mean, it's possible it could still be both, and he could be in love with her and scamming her at the same time, but I kind of want to believe that it's just the love. Kathleen says, I am amazed at the palpable chemistry between Victoria and Ashland. I strongly hope they write Ashland into the show. I haven't watched Victoria be this interesting in years. It's obvious that the two actors playing the parts really enjoy working together. Yeah, I think Y&R did a really good thing casting him, and a smart thing putting him with Victoria. I still keep thinking in the back of my mind how I saw, I probably should just research that, but somebody said that Richard Burgi doesn't want to be on the show for that long, that they had to kind of coerce him into staying for a year-long contract. So I don't know how long we're going to get out of him, but I'm sure going to enjoy it for whatever time we have. Leslie says, I had forgot, but was recently reminded that Victoria and Billy had each other's names tattooed on their back shoulder, but the artist had a heart attack or something, so Billy's tattoo stopped at just Victor instead of Victoria. I cannot remember if he knew it or not, but he ran into Victor in the GCAC gym and Victor gave him a hard time. My inquiring mind wants to know what happened to the tattoos. I don't remember this at all, Leslie, but OMG, it is fantastic. So Billy and Victoria got they got tattoos of each other's names, but Billy's tattoo artist had a heart attack in the middle, leaving Billy with a tattoo that says Victor. That is genius. Oh my gosh, I love that so much. I don't remember those tattoos. I remember they had ring tattoos, like their wedding rings were tattoos. Oh my gosh, I gotta find that clip. That would be so funny. And then Victor realizing that Billy Boy has his name tattooed on his back. That's funny. Diana says, Billy had the apartment looking so beautiful and romantic. I loved seeing Billy and Lily. They are a very likable couple, as I think they are relatable to a lot of people. Billy's not perfect, and Lily is there to help that balance. We had the reality of Billy's ex causing some turmoil for them, and now we have the next phase of their relationship, where we see Billy and Lily's bond continue to grow and blossom. It's so nice to see. Yes. Here's an interesting comment from Sue W., who says, I read an online article which stated that Y&R has not had a summer youth story, that's summer the season, not the character, this year, to draw in the younger viewers. I think that's been mentioned by Chatters and Allie as well. I think the days of students being home and at loose ends, idly flipping through TV channels, have long passed. There's too much online viewing content available now 24/7 for anybody to access, and soaps are quite tame compared to other options, and I highly doubt young people are getting sucked in. I do wonder what the majority of demographics are of new viewers, but sadly I suspect the numbers are declining each year. Yeah, it's interesting that you made this comment, Sue W, on the week that we had a little bit of Moses and Faith, which I could not bring myself to think about for too long and talk about during Y&R Chat. That's the thing. You're right. There are no youth stories on the show right now. It should be Moses and Faith, and I can't even get into Moses and Faith. Like, they're on so little that there's just nothing there for me to sink my teeth into. Like, I mean, Moses gave Faith a commemorative record this week. I mean, that's nice, but that's all I have to say about it. It's just nice. Oh, let's talk here a minute about Amanda and Naya. Ellen says, why does Amanda want anything to do with Naya? She has zero compassion for Richard and a sick loyalty to that snake Sutton. Sutton discarded Amanda and Hillary and had Richard killed. Naya is defending him over and over. She has abandoned her twins as a young adult and never confirmed that they were okay, placed in loving homes with adequate resources. Naya makes a lot of excuses for her bad behavior. Yeah, I really am starting to very much agree with you there, Ellen. And I think that I've made a lot of excuses for Naya just because I see something in the actress and I really wanted to like her and I really wanted her to be on screen and I wanted her to have more of a story. But I'm definitely to the point now of realizing that it just ain't there. Anything I like about her is just in my head and fully based on the fact that I think the actress has really great presence. But yeah, there's just there needs to be more there, and there's not, because at the end of the day, Naya and Sutton are not very likable. Neither, and honestly, Amani's not really all that likable either. Y&R needs to put some interpersonal focus on these people, not just like, well, we'll do a 30-year-old murder mystery, I guess. Ugh. Well, hey, let's go move on over to some lighter topics. Victoria has some comments on hair. Victoria says there's some beautiful highlighting going on at Y&R. Phyllis's curls popped out with her gorgeous golden highlights. Summer looked amazing in her shorter haircut with blonde highlights. And my favorite is Naya with her edgy yet sophisticated cut and reddish highlights. Yes, Victoria. Ooh, I noticed Naya had some different hair. Again, the actress is fascinating. She's visually fascinating. She's obviously very good at doing the best with very little. But yeah, I did notice the hair. I saw an article online, I think it was last week, that I guess Michelle Stafford had tried to do her own hair and it didn't turn out too well. It looked like it turned out more purplish than reddish, and she had a good sense of humor about it. She posted a picture of her bad hair, which ultimately it's like, it doesn't really even look bad. It's not possible to look bad, but I mean, people have lots of different hair colors these days, but she wasn't happy with it, and she kind of laughed it off and posted a picture of what she did DIY, and then had to call in the hair and makeup team to fix. She did also say something about how they're operating with very little hair and makeup staff, and maybe that's why she was trying to do her own hair. Are they really? Is she really not? Is Y&R really not able to do hair anymore? I guess I would have thought that maybe that restriction would have been relaxed at least a little bit. They don't have hair and makeup? Can anybody confirm that? I'd love to know. Gosh. Well, how about this from Diana? The entire summer we have not had one scene of the Abbott pool. It would have been fun to have had a scene where Kyle went for a swim and Tara came out in her bathing suit, flirting with Kyle. Tara had mentioned she was going for a swim to Kyle in hopes that Kyle would join her, but Kyle wasn't interested. Y&R's given us some new sets. I think the Abbott pool should be on their list. Kyle and Jack could have had their private conversation by the pool as well. So many lost opportunities not having this set. This is another point. It's like Tara didn't even try to seduce him at the end of the day. The most she did was say, "We'll go for a swim," and he turned it down. Like, just Tara did nothing to earn the villain treatment. I mean, not nothing, but not not as much as she could have, not as much as maybe I was hoping. But yeah, I think this is a good point. It's been summer, and we've had no pool sets. We've had very little indication that it even is summer. Like, we need summer bods is what we need. And if it's too late for the pool, maybe we need a gym set or something. Of course, I'm saying that now that I'm an athletic club member. I joined a gym, and in my mind, instead of saying that I'm going to the gym, I prefer to say I'm going to the athletic club. And I'm sure you can guess why. I'm just bringing all my Y&R fantasies into reality as much as I can. But yeah, I'm not going to hold out too much hope for a pool at this point, especially since it appears to be fall in Genoa City already. Let's end with this comment by Ellen, who says, Mariah is stuck in that room surrounded by every shade of pumpkin colors. We are not ready for October yet, Y&R. I had the same thought. It's like, it does feel like fall on Y&R already, doesn't it? Like, as in fall sweeps, as in let's be sweeping this stuff up under the rug. Oh boy, everybody. Oh, it's good to be back. I had my little just two-day vacation, 2-night vacation, and I actually did watch Y&R in the hotel room at night. And I thought about it. I originally thought I wasn't going to take my laptop, but then I'm like, you know what? I like having my creature comforts. It feels easier being away from home and not in my own bed and not with my own pillows and blankets and stuff if I have something that can still connect me to my routine. And my routine is I like to watch Y&R in bed at night after I've had my shower. So I said to myself, I'm taking the laptop. I'm going to watch the scenes in the hotel. And yeah, I actually did watch the scene where Billy and Lily were talking about going on a family vacation while I was in the hotel on my family vacation. That was kind of cool. I did not log into the website, though. I didn't even check the website, though, because I was a little too nervous because there was no, like, password on the Wi-Fi. And I even asked. I was like, so is there a password for this Wi-Fi? No, it's unsecured. And I thought, okay, well, then I'll just stream Y&R and I won't log in or put my passwords into anything because you just never know when there is a hacker supreme such as Phyllis sitting in the lobby with I don't know what kind of gadget to get my passwords. Y&R has taught me one thing: beware of hackers. Oh. Well, I had a great time until I got home and saw that Friday show. Then I was like, oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. It was all good. It was going so well there for Tara. Till it wasn't. But hey, it gives us something to talk about, something fun to chat about. And I'd love to hear what you are thinking and feeling right now. Go to yrchat.com. Vote in the Tara poll. Let me know if you're just done with her or if you are kind of holding out some hope that maybe she'll be back and we'll see a little bit more of her story and some resolution. Let me know what you're thinking about the show all in general. I always love hearing from you guys. I'm always breezing through comments throughout the week and seeing who's there and what y'all are saying, and I try to chime in when I can. And yeah, I'm back. I hope everybody is wrapping up their summer, having lots of good fun poolside. Preferably poolside. If we can't get a pool on Y&R, we need to get some pool in our real lives. Oh, it is gonna be fall really soon. We will be in fall sweeps before you know it. Oh, I look forward to it. I look forward to the cooler weather. You know, fall's my favorite season because, you know, I live in the Midwest. I got to break out my flannel. All right, everybody. I'm going to get going. I love you so much. I hope you have a really good week, and I will see you next time. Bye.